Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Welcome this morning, in which we will talking about adult learning English. Before starting, I will introduce you to my parent who will accompany us. First, I present Miss Patricia Fernandez Romo. She is teacher in primary school. And then I present to you Miss Eva Salvador Nieto. To her, apart from being a teacher, she performs herself a nurse. Now, if we begin to stand up, everybody, where you going to learn very well now some of our childhood. We follow with me the mimic. Now, stand up, okay? Let's start.
If you're happy, 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 clap your hands. If you're happy, 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 clap your hands. If you're happy, 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 clap your hands, clap your hands. If you're happy, 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 clap your hands. If you're strongly angry, angry, stomp your feet. If you're angry, 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 stomp your feet. If you're happy, 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 stomp your feet, stomp your feet. If you're angry, 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 stomp your feet. Scary, scary, say oh no.
Oh no!
In the scary, 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 say oh no.
Oh no!
In the scary, 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 say oh no, say oh no. In the scary, 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 say oh no.
Oh no!
In your sleep, sleep,
The sleep, 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 say oh no.
in the sleep, 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 say oh no, say oh no.
Sleep, 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 say no. Okay? It's good. Let's start in now.
Now we are going to talk about adults. Who are adults? So, what's the difference between young learner and adults? Young learner are students that belong to pre-elementary school students, and so adults belong to after the pre-primary, primary age, and adolescent. So, understanding learners. Life experience gets shared among students. Motivation. What motivates learner? Immediate goals. Immediate goal is for looking for a job, to study, to perform a profession, and it's different because adults want to learn something or want to learn English for job, for career, and so it's different than young learner. Self-concepts, both general as and specific concepts. How distinguish adults from young learners? Yeah, it's because adults are self-directed in their learning. They autonomy. Adults have reservoirs of experience that serves a resource as they learn. Adults are practical, problem-solving oriented learning because adults want a specific things. Adults want their learning to be immediately applicable to their life. Yes, because adults always look for experience. They learn, so they have to practice. Adults want to know why something needs to be learned. For adults, it's important to learn what they need. How do adults acquire language? Well, young learners acquire language and unconsciously language acquisition. Adults acquire consciously language learning. Yes, because adults know or learn something or learn the language because they are conscious that they need to learn the language, the new language. It's different to young learner. What do adults need? Adults need assessment, a process of determining of learner need to develop the curriculum. Adults appropriate contents, material, activities that speak to their needs and interests and allow them to demonstrate their knowledge and ability. Teaching will be effective when they feel responsive to immediate and long-term needs. Adults are close to the andragogy rather than pedagogy. A specific characteristic. To need involvement, it's a suggestion, learning center. To want practical information, teachers should know that they need. Yes, it's important for teacher to know what the learner wants to learn because they are directed, and so that's why the teacher have to be prepared for teach adults to have maturity characteristic. To have maturity, yes. Let them to themselves to understand priority. Suggestion, give what they need. Yeah. Direct of their own learning agenda. Involve them to create learning agenda. Do others learn similar to John 1? What is the correct English? What is appropriate English? The relationship of the speaker, the situation in which the communication takes place, the topic of the communication. What is similar to John 1? Well, we can notice that the teaching is similar to John 1 because they have relationship of speaker, the topic of the communication, etc. Determining the approach. Adult suites with learning centers. It's focused on the background, needs, expectation of learner to create more effective, authentic, and focused language learning environment. What is that strategy? Well, an analysis is done to assess learning needs. Curriculum, lessons, and activities are designed to help learners reach the goals target. Yes, curriculum, lessons, and activities may change through the length of the course as learner. Strength, weakness, and goals are reevaluated. At the end of the course may evaluate themselves or each other. Teaching methods. Teacher-centered. Lecture, explanation, task, presentation, demonstration. Learning centered. So simulation, role play, games, discover, learning, experiential, and learning facilitation, tutorial, brainstorming, snowballing case, study and problem solving, group discussion, seminars, small group, icebreaker. So for teacher center, so the teacher demonstrates, presents, lectures, also explain. So about the learning center, the learner is a center, so they can solve problem. They make groups of discussion, and so and learn like this. Tools of evaluation. A few common evaluation tools include writing assignment, composition, report, narrative, reading. So a skill checklist, list of skills in which the learner indicate the particular skills that they want to work on. Picture assessment, circle or point to picture which show the areas and language or which they wish to work. Inventories of language use. Learner write about the place and situation where they have trouble with using English. For example, if they can write a letter, a story, etc. Questionnaires. Sentence started. Students are provided with short prompts which allow them to write sentence indicating the topic that they wish to work on. Interviews. They can be done teacher, student, or among the whole class as a group discussion. The student can ask teacher, and also teacher can ask a student.
What about is strategies? We must understand learnings, accept the difference among students and between students and faculty, engage a student in setting goals and expectations, and be flexible, creative, and try not to be surprised by anything that happens in the classroom. The strategies is the problem is based on the learning. The student-centered instructions it's for learning and adult education. And another strategies is competence-based, outcomes-based, and the instructions. And the student-centered learning is the substitute active learning projects and experience for lectures. And the others learning is whole students responsible for material not yet covered, and assign open-ended the question and problems, and use simulation role playing. Another is use self-paced or cooperative team and learning. The student challenge. The student feel that teacher have changed their rules is that teacher not teaching, paying tuition for what? The team-based the learning. Some do not want to work in the groups. Do all members contribute equally? Too difficult to should coordinate, and some dominate and others hide. The competence, the strategies, each competence is supported by multiple learning objectives, and the other competence is learning objectives for the core, and competence general fall in lower middle cognitive domain of Bloom's and the taxonomy and acknowledgence and comprehension, application, and analyze. And the other competence is concentration and the specific and cross-cutting or interdisciplinary objectives and more complex and include synthesis and evaluation. And the teaching strategies is the set context, the type topics, the pre-assignments in class lectures and assessment. And in class lecture is an activity, is the opportunity to the practice with feedback and audience response system and clickers, short but realistic examples. The strategies is the use different methods, encourage critical thinking and synthesis, create opportunity for reflections and pre-class assignment. And the use different methods is in class, outside of class. In the outside of class is the most linked to course objectives. The set tone, it's a create an environment that supports learning and encourage different points of view and recognize, discuss your own basis, make the rigor and excitate a student about content. What is the effective teaching strategies? Okay, the effective strategies of teaching or the principle of adult learning. The principle is the need to know how adults learn best, and adult learners have special needs, and seek characteristics of adult learning. And adult learners are autonomous and have a foundation of life experiences and knowledge. And the other is are goal-oriented and are relevance-oriented, are practical and need to be shown respect. For each characteristic, there are implications for you. The trainer in the case is the teacher, no? Number one is adult learners are autonomous and self-directed. The implication is involved participants and servant and facilitator and determine the interest of learners. The number second is adult learners have a foundation of life experience and knowledge. The implication is recognize expertise of participants and encourage participants to share their experience and knowledge. The number is three, the adult learning and goal-oriented. The implication in this case is be organized and have clear objectives. The number four is adult learners and relevance-oriented. In this case, the implication is explaining how training, in this case, is the teacher. The objective relates to training activities. The number five is adult learners are practical. The implication in this case is show relevance of training to job. The number six is adult learners need to be respected. The implication is acknowledged the will to and this the experience the participants bring to the training. Treat the participants and equals rather than subordinate. This is active learning. The active learning is the learning is not a spectator sport. The more actively engaged the learning is, the more learning takes place. The different instructional is methodologies have greater rates of retention. Okay, the learning pyramid is the in this case the teaching order is 90%. The practice of the practice by doing is the 75%. The discussion group is 50%. The demonstration is 30%. The audiovisual is the 20%. The reading is 10%, and finally is the lecture, the 5%. Average learning retention rate. The instructional strategies in the learning teaching is the quiz, the games, the role playing, the brainstorming, the group problem solving, and lecture.